Hey everybody, this is a Couch Warrior. I thought I'd make a quick video just to talk a little bit about some of the stuff that we're seeing from Bethesda at E3 this year. If you're anything like me, you've been kind of glued to the press conferences there to, kind of see what's coming up and hopefully hear something new about, anything Elder Scrolls related. So we heard last night about the remaster, the Skyrim Remaster. There was also some kind of cool news about ESO that is, targeted at kind of expanding the audience, expanding what you can do, making it more flexible. All of that stuff is great news. I think, however, for those of us who really love the single-player games, games like Skyrim, there wasn't a lot. But what was there I thought was worthwhile. And I thought, it might be a good idea to make a quick video because there's been a lot of, I think, hating over the last half a day even since the announcement of the remaster came out. And there was some speculation prior to E3 that what we were going to get was a Skyrim remaster. And, I think a lot of the issues that people have with it are primarily coming from the PC community. Some of it, I think, stems from misunderstandings about what the remaster is. I think some of it comes from the fact that they're still a little bit light on what the details are of the remaster. But even so, even with everything we don't know about the remaster, I think there's an awful lot there that's positive, especially for those of us who actually give a crap about the role play experience, the immersion experience, the community experience. So I wanted to talk about that a little bit. First of all, I think just for clarification, Skyrim Remastered is a version of Skyrim that Bethesda is going to release on October 28th. That's the date they're giving us now anyway. The idea being that they've basically gone through and touched up the game to take advantage of the most modern hardware. So we're going to see some improvements in graphics, so presumably higher resolution textures. We're going to see some improvements in lighting. So I think what we'll probably be getting is some kind of mid-range E&B style editing or lighting, along with, improved graphics or improved textures, even well improved over and above what was offered when Skyrim was first launched with the HD package and all these kinds of different things, right? So I think, however, that, that just kind of scratches the surface. So when I think about what's good about this, I think even though those of us who are playing on PCs have been using E&Bs, have been using graphics mods for a very long time, I think there's a lot that we gained from this as well, especially in the community that Character Crusade podcast and, frankly, me, Couch Warrior TV, that I'm focused on, which is primarily role play. So yes, improved graphics. That's going to be a big one, a big sell for those people who are interested in playing this game on console. For those people who want to be, using a next-generation console, so an Xbox One or a PS4, that's very meaningful. Now they can play the game on the most recent console. They can take advantage of that hardware and get all of those improved graphics effects and lighting, right? I mean, that makes a huge difference. So for those of us who've been playing on PC for such a long time, we kind of take it for granted. And when I fire up Skyrim on my Xbox 360 now and try to play it, the experience just isn't there for me. So there's a whole group of people who are really going to benefit from that, obviously console players. However, for those of us who've been playing on PC for some time, I think some of the arguments I'm hearing is, oh, we're already doing that with E&B. Oh, we're already doing that with mods. Yes, we are. But the fact is that I believe the remaster, when it comes out, is going to be optimized for the high-res textures that are in it, optimized for the lighting modifications that are there. In other words, I believe that it's going to be designed to perform with those items in mind. And what that means for me is that I can test my own textures, these mods that I've been using for a long time now, on a case-by-case basis, And if I find that what's included in the remaster is superior to what my mods are providing, that is one item that I can eliminate from my load order. So as I look at it, as a person who's constantly struggling to try to keep a clean game and produce, let's plays and role play content and all of this stuff, simplifying my load order is a huge advantage. Being able to remove complication and potential issues from my load order is great for me. Now, that's a very that is I think a benefit that's very specific to me and what I'm doing. However, those of us who are just out there playing Skyrim for the sheer joy of playing the game but are using mods can also benefit from a simplified load order. I think historically for me, some of the most complicated things to do in Skyrim were to install and configure the right combinations of texture, lighting, and weather mods, right? I mean, that's the basis for so much of what everything else is running on top of. Essentially, those things provide the backdrop for your experience. And so when those are complicated, or if you're struggling through those, or you're struggling with E&B implementation or something like that, it really just detracts from the experience. You feel like you're spending more time monitoring that stuff and tweaking it and doting over it than you are playing the game and enjoying yourself. So from my perspective, there's a positive there. So my intent is, once the remaster is available, I'm going to go through it and I'm going to test the textures I like now on a case-by-case basis, and I will keep the ones that I like. And in the cases where the remaster provides better textures or better performance or better visuals, then I will switch there. So I will be doing that on a case-by-case basis, but I expect that it will simplify my load order somewhat, and I certainly welcome that. The other thing that I think we should try to keep in mind here too is that any remaster worth its salt is going to include some kind of technical or performance improvement under the hood that's going to make the overall performance of the game better on the hardware that is current. So my expectation is that the remastered version of the game will perform better on my machine than the version that I have now. And if that means, a bump of 5 frames, I'll take it. I will take it. A bump in frame rate, an increase in stability or reliability, combined with simplified load order and better out-of-the-box graphics, that all seems pretty good. And those of us, obviously, who are PC players who have all the DLC, we get this update for free. I mean, you don't have to pay for it. You can just download it and implement it and move forward. So I don't see a whole lot of downside. Some of the negativity I've been hearing has to do with, why should I pay for it, and blah, 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 blah. And some of that is coming from PC players who just don't really understand the fact that it's not going to cost them anything, unless they're people who are just playing vanilla Skyrim. But most of the people I know who are into modding and really into role play and the full Skyrim experience are running all the DLCs plus mods on top of that. So I feel like that particular gripe just doesn't hold water. So for those people who are on console and they're complaining about having to pay for it, I just also have a hard time sympathizing when you compare that against the benefits that you're going to get. So that's kind of my view on this whole thing. So obviously for console players, the ability to mod, I mean, that's terrific. Provided that, Bethesda can kind of get their act together on this whole mod theft debacle that we've seen in Fallout. My assumption is that by the time this would launch the end of October, that would be fairly well sorted. And we would be able to go into Skyrim cleanly with everybody understanding what's appropriate and what's not. I mean, we do have a very, very active mod community, where Skyrim is concerned. And I firmly believe that modders will embrace it. I mean, I think they would love to see people enjoying their mods on console. And so I think if they have the capacity to do it, they will. And, I guess Joe and I have to decide whether or not we're going to port any of our mods. I mean, granted, we've only got 5 published mods, but we've probably got, 25, 30, maybe even 40 mods that are unpublished that could potentially be published. So it's a concern for us as well as both players and mod authors. So I think, improved graphics, availability of mods on console, all of that stuff is great. All it does is serve to open up further what's available to the community and have that many more people who are engaged in some kind of an immersive role play experience, taking advantage of mods to craft their own narratives. And how can that be a bad thing? That is certainly a group of people who have been underserved where this game is concerned for quite some time. And that's coming from a guy who played for the first year and a half after release on the Xbox exclusively. I started this channel as an Xbox-only Let's Play channel. So I get it. And I loved this game enough that I did what I had to do to try to find a way to play it on PC because I loved the mods. If I had access to mods at that time through console, who knows if I would have ever made the switch. Maybe I would have stayed on console. I don't know. But from my perspective, I see far more positive with the remaster than I see negative. We're going to expand the community. We're going to improve access to the game. And when you consider the fact that it's possible that a person now could go out and buy an Xbox at $299, and then buy the remaster, and given the native streaming technology available in the Xbox produced content, that's pretty nice. I mean, that's a really nice alternative to having to go out and either buy or build a PC in order to enjoy mods. So all around, I think that this is a good thing for everyone, and I look forward to the opportunity in the podcast and on the channel to start talking to other Skyrim enthusiasts about their experiences on the console, playing with mods, and having the same kind of engaging experience that those of us on PC have had so long and that we've spent a year or more talking about on the podcast. So that is all I had for today. I think, the road ahead looks pretty good. And, it would have been nice to have an announcement about Elder Scrolls 6. I think we all knew that wasn't going to happen. So I think, let's be realistic. And let's also be realistic about whether or not Bethesda should have made a Morrowind or Oblivion remaster. It just doesn't make sense to me. It would be so much more time-consuming and labor-intensive to remaster those two games, given their underlying architecture and how old they were. I would much rather have a Bethesda team devoted to producing Elder Scrolls 6 than I would remastering Oblivion and Morrowind, especially given the fact that we have, teams of modders who are creating, terrific mods like Skywind, right, that we're all anticipating. And so I think, this is kind of the best option. We've got a remaster that's going to expand the community and tide us over until we can get Elder Scrolls 6. Maybe we'll get an announcement at E3 next year, huh? And in the meantime, we've got other great mods to look forward to. We've got Skywind, obviously, which is a complete redo of that Morrowind experience using these new assets, which I think is terrific. And we've got other mods that are kind of rebuilding Tamriel. We can have a Cyrodiil experience. We can do these things. We're going to be able to do them very soon. So for me, this seems like the right thing. let's remaster Skyrim. Let's expand the community. Let's anticipate what's coming, and let's let those modders who've been working for so long on these terrific, kind of volunteer-only remasters do their thing, and let's enjoy their content. Well, that's all I had, folks. There's still a lot more E3 to come, a lot more exciting things to hear about. Microsoft had a great conference today. I'm very excited about the direction they're taking with the consoles and the ability to play games between Windows 10 and Xbox. I think that's all amazing. So, let's tune in and listen, see what else is there. And then just a quick update. The next episode of our podcast, we will be live streaming an interview with Voices from the Dark. We have shifted the date of that live stream from June 20th to the 23rd. You will be seeing announcements for that coming out. There are announcements coming out constantly about everything on Twitter all the time, but I'll probably do another video or refer to it in a video, hopefully before then. But if you're interested in a live stream, it's going to be Thursday, June 23rd, and we are going to start at 5 p.m. Central Standard Time. So make a note in your calendar. We'd love to see you there. And, I'm hoping that we'll have time to actually take some of your questions and pose those to Voices from the Dark, who's going to be our guest. It should be tons of fun. So until next time, I don't know. Until next time, what? Silence is our battle cry.